Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry. My call sign's K7HN, and welcome back to the Shack from around the world. This is Ham Radio Live. Oh my goodness, dude, we got a show for you today. Holy mackerel, you're going to absolutely adore it. You will. Wherever you may be, coast to coast, thank you so much for joining the show. We are the only, just about daily podcast out there, really, the only one that talks about ham radio and shortwave and all those things that some people find nerdy, but we absolutely love it here. So please do me a favor, subscribe, because it'll help other people find the channel. And there are those, yes there are, that have interest in amateur radio around the world, but just don't know how the heck to get started. Welcome to the show. Happy Friday, everybody. Woo! Hey, it's Friday, the 23rd of April, 2021, and I'm on a little sleep here, but hey, why not be in a good mood, right? I want to welcome you to the show. I want to start out by sincerely thanking you. The amount of people who have subscribed to this channel have just, wow. I'm serious. There's so much about YouTube podcasting. I mean, to me, I don't take this seriously, but when I look at analytics for the show and I see the numbers and how they've increased over time, thank you. I mean that. Thank you very much, because we are right now 1.7%, just 1.7% away from being at 50% subscribers. No joke. That means 50% of the people that watch these shows are subscribed to it. To me, that is way beyond what I ever thought. I mean, I hope for 30. I mean, when I started doing this, I believe we were like 22, 23%. I was hoping, well, 30 would be great. And it just kept going up. And that's due to all of you and not for me. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing what you do to subscribe to this channel. It helps people to find the channel who might have an interest in amateur radio, just like I did. You know, I've always been interested, but I didn't know how to get started. So this show hopefully will help them be a stepping stone to get them on the air and into amateur radio. That's our hope here. Okay? Thank you very much. All right, before we get started, I want to tell you how you get in amateur radio. If this is your first time here, there are plenty of ways around the world to get started. First of all, the American Radio Relay League is a great resource. They're available at www.arrl.org. Find them there. Click down the screen. You'll find a Contact Us section. Fill out the form, tell them where you're at, and then you can find out your way to get into amateur radio. If you're up north in Canada, they've got a great club there. It's called the Radio Amateurs of Canada, RAC. By the way, today's sign-off, if you don't shed a tear, you're not living. It is the final broadcast of Radio Canada International, their shortwave service. And I got to tell you, when I saw it, I felt bad. I felt terrible for this young man who had to do the final broadcast from Radio Canada International. Take a look at it. It's worth watching. It'll be at the end of the show. But if you'd like to get into amateur radio and you're in Canada, you can get a hold of the folks there at www.rac.ca. In Great Britain, they've got a wonderful, wonderful radio group there that helps people get licensed and then helps them continue to license up. It's called the Radio Society of Great Britain. Find them online, www.rsgb.org. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you. Strap on those seatbelts, get ready. We got a good show. Today's going to be a very fun show. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to go over, it's a full extra Friday. Yep, it is. That means we're going to do full and extra exam questions. Those are the top level licenses, both in the UK and the US, to help you get licensed and get all the frequencies. Everything available within your region, within your radio group's region, so forth, that you can use. What that means is, in the U.S., we have certain areas that we can work on the U.S. amateur ham bands. When you're a U.S. amateur extra, you get it all. You get every frequency available. If you're in the U.K., you get it all. You get every amateur frequency available to you within the United Kingdom. So this is the big one. Now, many people take this one so seriously that they're afraid to take it. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you are already a general or an intermediate licensee, you're already almost there. You really are. Don't give up. Don't make fear of taking one more test be the thing that stops you from going the extra mile, because that extra mile is worth it. Trust me, this is where DX is. This is where you're going to make those long distance calls. And by the way, if I wasn't an extra, last night I would not have made a call at 100 watts all the way to Bulgaria. Yep, last night, 40 meter DX, Bulgaria, but it was on an extra frequency. So please don't hesitate to do this. Let's say some hellos to people and we'll let this thing roll. Sean, good morning from Oregon. Good evening to you in the United Kingdom. His call sign, Mike Zero, Bravo, Juliet, Lima. He is a good guy. Sean is like the DX king. You know, they've got Callum over there, right? Mike Zero, Bravo, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Mike Zero, MCL, I think it is. Yeah, that's Cal. Anyway, so you got Callum, he's DX Commander. Well, Sean is DX. We're going to call Sean from now on DX King. That's what we'll call him. Sean's good at DX. He's worked the world. 342 different countries. No joke. That's the largest count I've ever seen. I'm not kidding. And he even has North Korea in that. So, Sean, is really an honor to have you here today. Thank you so much. Martin, indeed, away we go. Papa Echo 9, Tango India Golf. We are here, and here we go. Good day to Tom in Bahrain. His call sign, Alpha Echo 1, Tom Papa in the U.S., Bahrain is Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey, and possibly a call sign coming in Bulgaria where Tom lives. That's pretty sweet. He could have the trifecta, right? 3 call signs. That's flipping awesome. Greg is here studying for his extra, and you know what? You're going to do it. Now, Greg, listen. If it doesn't work out the first time, don't be disappointed. In my test, I was told by the VEC that there are many generals who take this test multiple times, fail it until they finally pass, sometimes 4 or 5 times. Don't let it disappoint you if you don't pass it. But I believe you will pass it, and I believe you'll pass in the first try. I do. Don't go in there nervous. Get a good night's rest, and you'll do fine. Seriously, it is truly a very passable test. So, let's see. Alpha Echo 1, Tom Papa, Tom in Bahrain. He can remember listening to the Canada International broadcast while on beach camping here in the Gulf many years ago. Radio Canada International, in many ways, was kind of like Radio Netherlands. They were kind of like the independent voice in in shortwave radio. For years, they were just a very neutral entity in shortwave, and they were refreshing. They were very refreshing to listen to. So they were good. Kevin's here. Mike Zero, Mike Charlie Lima from the UK. Good evening to you, Kevin. Great to see you. Yeah, I know. That was what it was. M0MCX. For a while, it was like my mind went blank. But Callum makes great antenna products over at DX Commander. You can find him at dxcommander.co.uk, I believe. But anyway, he's great. No, wait. M0MCX.uk. You'll find him. Just search DX Commander on Google. It'll make it easier. It just does. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it to the end of the week, and I think we should just let this thing rip. Yep, I think it's time we do it. So what do you say? It's time we play 20 questions. Today's 20 questions is the Amateur Extra, as well as the Foundation license in the U.S. and U.K., respectively. The 20 questions that hopefully will help you get to the show that gets you to the top. Yep, the very top class in both countries. Get you all the frequencies, including DX. You can work the world. You can do this. Do not take it so seriously that you think, oh my gosh, this is way too hard. Look, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So just listen. I'm not a substitute for study, but I am going to help you along the way, I hope. So let's get ready to play 20 questions on a Friday, the 23rd day of April 2021, as we get ready to get you licensed all the way up to the very, very top class, which is the Amateur Extra in the U.S. and the full license in the U.K. All right, here we go. First on the U.S., this is the Amateur Extra, first question. So let's get this up on the screen and let's get moving. Great QSO. For folks that are on low power, like, Foundation licenses, you 10-watt folks, don't worry about that. I have a great video coming up during the show to give you some hope, and I'll give you some perspective too. It shows you what you can do with low power. All right? Hang in there. All right. Hey, by the way, big news. Ham Radio Outlet is growing. Did you know this? Take a look at this. It just was announced this week. Ham Radio Outlet, brand new store coming to Northern California. Yeah, they already have one that's in Oakland. Now they've got one in the Valley, right there in Sacramento. The address is going to be 4813 Auburn Boulevard in Sacramento. So you folks that are in the Valley, say, anywhere from Redding all the way down to the Stockton area, you guys are going to be able to get to Ham Radio Outlet much easier by just driving Interstate 5 and get there easy. Yep. Right there in Auburn Boulevard in Sacramento, California. So Ham Radio Outlet growing, and in Sacramento, that's a pretty big deal. So let's get you going here on the U.S. Extra now in the United States. First question. On the Smith chart, shown in figure E9-3, what is the name for the large outer circle on which the reactance arcs terminate? Okay, Smith charts, what they are is they basically help you determine an antenna, the impedance of an antenna. They're a great tool. Antenna analyzers really use the mathematical computations in a Smith chart to help you know if your SWR is acceptable or not, okay? But before antenna analyzers, this is what was used. You would use a Smith chart, okay? The outer circle is the reactance axis. Remember that. Outer circle is the reactance axis on any Smith chart, okay? If you remember the outer circle is reactance, that will help you significantly because reactance is, again, the inverse of impedance, okay? Remember, impedance, reactance, they're different. So outside the circle is reactance. Next question. On the U.S. Extra, the top license in the United States, reads, what type of antenna pattern over real ground is shown in figure E9-2? So you see, you guys can pass this. You can. You know this is an elevation chart. Take a look. The four fingers, they go out from the center. Now, those are done, if you look at the points, they're done in degrees, okay? Degrees off of the horizon. So when you see one of these, this helps determine the takeoff angle of your antenna. Okay, you want it to be as low as possible, and hopefully that longest lobe at the bottom. That's what you want. You don't want the longest lobe being real high. Otherwise, you're going to be working real way up high and working people 10 miles away. You don't want that. You don't want to do that. So, this is an elevation chart. That's all it is. You'll see these often. And as you get into ham radio, this is one of those things you're going to use often. You really will, because you're going to want to know how good an antenna performs. This is one of the best tools you can do to know how well an antenna performs. Elevation pattern. That's what it is. So when you use one of these, you're going to know, hey, this is how the elevation is on this antenna. I want to be 7-8 degrees off the horizon because I want to work DX. That first bounce is going to come off flat to the horizon versus straight up. Think about it. Just think about this from an angle perspective, right? If you have an antenna that literally goes up this way and bounces back down off the ionosphere, that area of skip is pretty small. However, if you've got something that goes out long over the horizon and bounces, now that skip angle is really wide because what you've done is you've increased the level of skip that you have, meaning your signal will go farther. That's why elevation angles are so important. And knowing how to use things like EasyNeck, it's a great software modeling program to find out how well your antenna radiates and which direction it radiates off the ground for elevation is so important, okay? Next question. What magnitude of voltage gain can be expected from the circuit in figure E7-4 when R1, which is resistor, is 10 ohms and RF is 470 ohms? This one is pretty simple. All you need to do is divide 470 by 10. You have the answer of 47, and you have the answer right. That's what you do. This is simple division, okay? 470 divided by 10, you have 47, you have the answer. When you see this question, just divide it. It's going to be something you can do. This is not brain surgery, and it's not rocket science, okay? Like I say, if I can do it, you can do it. don't let this scare you away from being the best you could be in amateur radio. Okay? And I'm going to stop calling it amateur radio because we know more than the guys that are in commercial radio. So we're going to call it now on, we're going to call it pro radio. Pro radio, because I think amateur radio just sounds terrible. It just doesn't give credit to people for the amount of work they do and what they know. Because I'll tell you, being a commercial air talent for a long time, I know a lot more about radio now than I ever did, truly. Next question, in figure E6-5, notice how I'm going to things that are visual today? It's because I haven't done this on the extra exam. And the reason why I haven't is simply because they haven't been there. But today I looked, I really went through multiple exams to get you as many as I could so that you could see some of these things and not be intimidated when you see them. Okay, this one's a real easy one to remember, by the way. In figure E6-5, what is the schematic symbol for the NOT operation inverter? The NOT, N-O-T, okay? That is number 5. Now, the way I remembered this was simple. I'll tell you how I did it. What is one thing sorry, and I don't mean to be sexist. I'm not trying to be, please don't take this wrong, ladies, okay? What's one thing every woman wants? Diamonds, right? Okay. And what's one thing most guys will say when they get to a very expensive jewelry store, right? And they see the price come out? Yeah, pretty much. So, okay, I do not want to buy you expensive diamonds, but I'll buy you one, right? Okay. Look at number 5. It looks kind of like a little necklace there. Think of the triangles of diamond, right? Not, okay? It looks like a little diamond necklace. So think of that as not, because you do not want to purchase something super expensive because, you know, you want to buy yourself AM radio instead. No! Just don't tell her that and you'll be just fine. All right. So 5 is not. Remember on the schematic, that is a not operation, also known as an inverter, okay? Maybe kind of silly to do it this way, but folks, I mean, everybody has their own way to learn. You may find yours differently. This is how I did it, and it worked, and I hope you enjoy it. Next question, on the extra. In what application is they do this every time. Gallium arsenide used as a semiconductor material in preference to germanium or silicon? This is in microwave circuits, okay? They use these products in microwave circuits because they're just more effective. They tend to be better to use, that's all. And, you know, why this is important? Well, it's important, I guess, because it needs to be on the test. So, that's the best way I can describe it. I think a lot of folks who are very good, very talented at engineering, this is something that, is important to them. But I think for the average ham, probably not so much. That's just being honest. But that's what gallium arsenide and germanium, used in instead of germanium or silicon, you would use it in microwave circuits. Okay, next question. What is the common use for a point contact diodes? Okay, so common use for point contact diodes is an RF detector. Yeah, you'll find those, especially like in any super heterodyne receiver. Okay, point contact diodes are used just in the circuit so it can recognize the radio frequency field coming in. Okay, point contact diodes. Remember, diodes allow signal or current to go one way but not go back. Remember that. So picks up the RF, doesn't let it go backwards, moves it forward so it can go through your audio chain. And you'll be good. Next questions. Why is it important to keep lead lengths short for components used in circuits for VHF and above? All right, so we're on the very high frequency UHF and microwave bands, okay? Your lead lengths. What a lead is it's basically the connection from your radio to your antenna. That's what it is. So why is it important to keep them short? It's to avoid unwanted inductive reactance. What does that mean? Well, what it means is every lead, whether it be for your radio to your, HF antenna or to VHF, UHF, and, microwave, they're antennas. Seriously, leads are antennas, as they are. They will pick things up. So keep them short because you want them to just be between you and your antenna. because you guys are real buddies, and that's what you want to do. You want to keep it that way. Seriously, just keep them short. It avoids unwanted inductive reactance, which means picking up RF. Okay? That's it. Next question. On the extra, see, you guys can do this. This is simple. You can do this. What is the relationship between the current through an inductor and the voltage across an inductor? All right, keep in mind, an inductor is basically a giant loop. It's a hole, okay, big old loop. All right, so what goes in first? Voltage. In an inductor, which is a giant loop, voltage hits it first, okay? Then current will come second. Just remember the voltage hits it at 90 degrees in front. That's it. The voltage will be there 90 degrees ahead because the voltage hits that inductor before the current flows. That's just the way it works. It's like anything, okay? When you have something that goes in a chain, right? It makes sense. It hits the inductor, it powers it up, okay? And once it gets to here, the inductor starts to work right, okay? So 90 degrees after the voltage. That's it. You'll have the answer right. All right, next question. On the US emitter extra, what transmitter frequencies would cause an intermodulation product signal in a receiver tuned to 146.70 megahertz when a nearby station transmits on 146.52 megahertz? Okay, important to understand intermodulation products, what that means. It basically means that there's another station out there real close and you're hearing them as well as the signal that you want to hear. That's what it is. In this answer, the answer is the first one, 146.34 megahertz and 146.61. Remember, you're tuned to 146.7, okay? A nearby station is transmitting on 146.52. That's why these two make the answer correct. See, do you see why that is? They're the closest, okay? When you go outside of this, say for example, you go to B. All right. 146.7 is your first frequency. Look at the next one, right? Next one's 146.88. Okay, farther away. And then the next one's 146.34, which is farther away from 5.2. Next ones are way crazy away, and the next one is not even on the ham radio bands. So there is no 175.35, and there's no 139.5, 4 zeros. Don't even consider those. Pretty simple on the fourth one. Just get rid of that one. Pretty simple. By process of elimination, that's not even a ham band. All right, next and final two on the emitter extra. The question, what is the minimum passing score on amateur operator license examinations, whether it be for the extra, the technician, or the general? And look at this. You only have to have a 74. That means you can do it. 74%, that's the average. That's what you have to pass with. 74% passing score. You get it, you're the licensee, you hold it, and you're the next person that has licensed up. My goodness, you could do this. Please, don't seek perfection. Seek passing, okay? Seek passing the test. That's it. Focus on what you know. Get those questions answered first. Then the things that you're struggling with, go back to those. You'll be okay with it. Just focus on what you know first, okay? Next question and the final one for the extra today. This is number 10 for the extra. What is the maximum permitted transmitter peak envelope power? We also call that PEP, okay? Just to shorten it out, peak envelope power. For an amateur station transmitting spread spectrum communications. Okay, so by definition, spread spectrum communications means you're using more bandwidth than you need to make the same call. You can make it with a narrower bandwidth. So the answer here, 10 watts. That's the maximum permitted transmitter PEP or peak envelope power that you can use when you're transmitting spread spectrum emissions in the US of A, and that is number 10, and we're done today with the extra. Halfway through. Let's say some quick hellos. We had some folks that entered in between everybody here. Kilo Charlie 1, Juliet, Victor David, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. It's nice to see you. Thank you. Andy Cowley is here. Welcome back from the UK. I still do. 2 Echo 0, Romeo Echo Echo in the house. Thank you, Andy, for being here from the UK. Good evening to you. Thank you. Kevin, M0, MCL, nothing wrong with low power. I have had more fun working portable with 5 watts than in the shack running full legal limit. I totally agree with that one right there. Yeah. There's more challenge and more reward to working QRP than QRO. Absolutely. Stu Foster here from the UK. Stu, it's a pleasure. Good to see you. His call sign, Golf 7, Whiskey Alpha Yankee. Hope you're feeling a little better. Sorry I'm late. Don't worry, you're fine. And I am just running on fumes, but you know, there's caffeine, and that is something we're grateful for. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, final, Dave is here. Good to see you, Dave, from Temecula, California. Whiskey 6, Charlie Romeo Tango. Dave, welcome to the show. All right, we are now to the final 10 of the 20 questions of today. This is for the UK full exam, top license in the United Kingdom. Away we go. In the superhet receiver of a received RF signal at 7.1 megahertz is mixed with a 6.6 megahertz signal from the local oscillator, which of the following will not be produced? This is one of those things that one of these things does not belong here. Yeah. The UK test has a lot of these, where it'll be the one thing that doesn't fit. Keep that in mind, okay? Okay, let's review the question and make it more simple. Okay, in a super heterodyne receiver, which is basically on 7.1 megahertz, right? Okay, so it's mixed with a 6.6 megahertz signal from the local oscillator, also known as the intermediate frequency. Okay, the local oscillator generates the intermediate frequency at 6.6 megahertz. Okay, which of the following will not be produced? The answer is an audio CW tone at 500 hertz. This one's pretty simple, okay? It's the only one that doesn't say intermediate frequency. It's the only one. Take a look. You see, the other ones it will do, but it will not produce an audio CW tone. Remember, you're receiving here, but it's not going to produce an audio tone because guess what? That's transmitting. It's not going to produce a tone. So all you do is just take a look at the question very carefully, all right? Look at what the answers say. Pick the one that doesn't apply, and you're going to be fine. You can pass this. You can. In the UK, folks, you can pass it. Next question. An antenna matching unit, sometimes referred to as an antenna tuning unit, which really means, quite honestly, an impedance matcher. Mama always said, call it like it is. All right. What's it used to do? It's, again, here's the answer. It's to change the impedance presented to the transmitter. All antenna tuners do is help to make your transmitter happy with the impedance that's present at the antenna through the feed line. That's what it does. So impedance matchers, what they do is they go through giant formulas, which are very simple and they're very computerized, and they go at the speed of light. They just boop, 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 really fast, right? Don't make me do that again. But the point is, they find a solution to an impedance that will give you the most power out of your transmitter to your tower with the most efficiency. That's what they do. They don't tune antennas. They just match impedances because you want to get to that 50 ohm load and make it as much as possible going out to the world to make great calls. That's what they do. So when you look at this question again, an impedance matcher, okay, again, change the impedance presented to the transmitter, it matches impedance. An antenna matching unit, sometimes referred to as an antenna tuning unit or ATU, is used to change the impedance presented to the transmitter. It doesn't change the resonance of the antenna. The antenna is still non-resonant. It just makes your radio happy to transmit through an antenna that isn't resonant. In basic terms, that's what it does. Next question, on the full exam in the UK. If you're operating on a frequency of 10.125 megahertz, and are asked to change frequency by a station claiming that they are a primary user. Doggone, I was here first, and you just took my frequency, and I'm real angry here, doggone it. Get off this frequency. Oh, brother. So anyway, this question really goes on. It says, if you are operating at a frequency of 10.125 megs, and you're asked to change frequency by a station claiming that they are a primary user, meaning they were there first, and have been assigned that frequency, which doesn't exist. Okay, both don't exist, okay? First of all, no one's assigned a frequency. Second of all, they're not a primary user. A primary user actually would be, if you think about it, a primary user actually is a shortwave station.
Thank you.
Exactly. That's a primary user. We're all secondary users. So both of those are wrong. But the point is, they ask you to move. That's really what this $75 question, or sorry, 75-pound question means. Okay. So on 10.125, somebody says, hey, mate, I was here first. Get off because this is a channel that's been assigned to me. Just change frequency. Just don't interfere with them. It's not worth it. It just isn't. And don't get into the thing where, guys do this. We do. No, I'm not going to be pushed around by you. I don't have to take that. No. Put it away. Just turn the VFO and find another channel, another frequency to use, okay? Now, if you're going to be on 30 meters like that, you're going to find a different channel, right? Obviously. Or just change bands. Find another place to transmit. Don't get into it with the guy and say, look, first of all, you're not assigned to any channel. And second of all, there's no such thing as having, being a primary user when you're a ham. Just change frequency. It's easier. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Because you're just making calls to have fun, right? Keep that in mind. Which of the following would not help in finding out the location or address of a station with whom you've had a QSO? Okay, so you're Mr. Inspector. Yep, you're going to find out exactly what's going on. You want to find out where they're at. Which of these areas would help you? Which thing is going to, not help you? Excuse me, this is one of those not questions. So which of these will not help you? The answer is the lifetime license document. Yes, the lifetime license document is available right now at stores. All you have to do is call 1-800-DON'T-CALL-ME, and you've got yourself the lifetime license document. Thank you so much for ordering. Operators are standing by. Oh boy, the RSGB yearbook can help you. A call sign database like QRZ can help you. A call book on CD-ROM, whether it's, current or not, that's a question. But the point is, those can help you. But the lifetime license document, no, and there's no such thing either. So don't even consider that. Next question on the UK full. See, you can pass this, you guys. You can do it. Don't let this stop you. Don't make this about being too hard. So many people waste so much time and effort and worry over not getting this done and missing out on the time of their lives to work DX because they're too afraid to do this. Don't do that. It's a mistake. You can do it. You can pass this. Which of the following is not likely to be a symptom of interference caused by amateur radio? Okay. So we're talking about home entertainment products here. All question answers have to do with that. Take a look. First one, distorted speech breaking through on a television speaker. Okay? It's not likely to be a symptom of interference caused by an amateur radio station. Wavy patterning on a digital television. Okay? Now, remember, this is one of those not questions again, and thankfully they put them not. So, distorted speech breaking through on a television speaker, that could be a problem from an amateur station. It could be. You could hear someone calling CQDX or talking about the weather all of a sudden and saying, honey, what's wrong with the telly? Okay. You could have wavy patterning on digital television. No, that's not true. Because digital television uses different frequencies than HF. That's the answer. We'll go over that in a second. Distorted voice sounds on telephones and music system. Yep, you can have that. Jerky pictures on television. Yep, You can have that too, but not waving patterning on a digital television. You see, when we went digital, all right, in the old days, when we were kids, VHF, UHF, you know, those frequencies were frequencies that we used, okay? Those are closest frequencies that we used. Now, stations, it doesn't matter. US, for example, your channel 6, for example, that was typically right around 82 to 88 megahertz. That's where it was at, okay? You'd hear the audio in your FM car, right, in your FM radio. That changed. Once we went digital, those stations now are way up on the UHF dial. All of them are. They're just through digital encoding made to look like it's still channel 6. They might be on channel 43. They could be on old UHF channel 37. But the point is they've moved. They've changed now way up on the UHF dial because they wanted to give VHF stations to emergency services. That's the reason why they did that back in 2010. So that's why that answer is the way it is, because your signals are on HF or VHF. But the point is, digital is way up on UHF, way up. So you're not going to have any problem with a UHF signal. So wavy patterning on a digital, and that's the main point here. It's digital, so it's UHF reception. That's why your amateur radio won't cause interference with it. There's the answer, truthfully in breakdown form. And that's hopefully a layman's term response of why. Okay, next question. Which of the following pairs of statements are correct? Now, this is one of those ones that is not one of those ones that says not, so you know that you're looking for the right answer. So look for right, not wrong. Okay. Oh, boy. Okay, this is the one that's correct. Series tuned circuits tend to accept current. Parallel tuned circuits tend to reject it. That's just electrical theory. That's the way it works, okay? Of these four, that pair is the only one that is correct. So remember, when you see this one, read the question carefully. Carefully, because you want to look for that not. If the not is there, make sure you look for the one that does not apply, okay? Next, on the UK full exam. The most important reason for ensuring that you always connect an analog meter the right way around. Notice they don't say around, it's round. I love that. It's great. It's like you're in the pub. You're having a pint with your mate and you're saying, yeah, the most important reason for ensuring that you always connect an analog meter the right way around is to avoid damaging the meter. That's it. And the reason why is because if you're putting too much into the meter, you can peg the needle and you can break it. You can destroy the meter. You don't want to do that. So because of that, make sure first of all, you're measuring a circuit that your meter can handle. That's number one. The second thing is make sure number one's right. Check twice. Then go and make sure your leads are correct. Then you're good. You're just fine. But double check to make sure your meter is good for measuring the circuit you want, and you should have no problem. Okay? Last ones on the UK full exam. We're going to finish this 20 questions. And here you go. This is where you need the magnifying glass and a combination with the microscope. Which of the following statements best describes this circuit? So what does this circuit look like? You might think, not quite sure. Okay, so this circuit, as described, is actually, ready? There's a close-up of the question. What was I thinking? I don't know. My gosh, no. The answer to this one is it's the parallel circuit. Oh my goodness, it's a parallel circuit. Thank you so much. Which means I gypped you. Hold on, I gypped you. I can't gyp you because I take these things seriously and I try very hard to make sure you get the right stuff. So let me add just a few more. Hold on. Just going to make sure we get this right because I don't want to gyp you guys. 20 questions is 20 questions, and I owe you that. Just give me a moment here. Hold on. I'll find you a couple more questions that we haven't done yet. Hold on. I can't believe I got copies of all that stuff. Oh, boy. That's brilliant. I've asked you all these. Hold on. Oh, boy. This is rather embarrassing. Okay, here's one. Okay, this will get you to 10. Hold on. This will get us to 10. It's one of them I got wrong. But I got wrong, and it's a technicality. I want you to know, doggone it, it's a technicality. I want answers. It's like, what? Okay, well, if you say so. You know, this is where the U.S. and the U.K., tests are different. And it's like, I looked at it, I'm going, wait a minute, I can do that with a computer. All kinds of computers do it. Ham Radio Deluxe does this. What are you waiting for? What are you doing? Why won't you send? Just trying to send one thing. Okay, so here's the question, and I got it wrong, but I think I'm still right on it. But then again, I'm stubborn with this. The question, which of the following modes would not normally be generated by using a personal computer in appropriate interface? Now, you may say, okay, Larry, but yes, it does say normally. And I would say, yeah, it does say normally, but doggone it. Look at the other ones here. No! All right. CW is the correct answer. So when you get this question, which of the following modes would not normally be generated by using a personal computer in appropriate interface? CW is the answer you want. It's not radio teletype, not slow scan television, not packet. It's Morse code. Forget the fact that most computers do it inside the radios and that Ham Radio Deluxe does it and FL Digi. It's just the answer that you want. 20 questions. We made it through. Hello, everybody. Wherever you may be. Sorry about that. I was like, I had it. I timed it all. I was like, okay, 10, 20, got them all. Okay. We'll be out by 35 minutes to 40, somewhere in there. We should be fine. No, sorry about that. All right. Some folks came in to say hello. By the way, Stu, I hope your family is well. I really do. You're in my prayers, man. You really are, all of you guys. So I mean that sincerely. Rod Clare is here. Uh-oh, he's still Kilo Juliet 7, Radio Kilo Bravo. But Rod, it's still a cool call sign, man. It's KJR, dude. You're from the Northwest. It's KJR. That's awesome. KJR was like the station in the Northwest next to Kissin', okay? Back in like the 60s, 70s, there were two boss radio stations in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle had KJR. Portland had Kissin', okay? It was KISN. And Kissin' was cool. You'd come home from the airport, and the first thing you saw when you came in, no joke, you'd leave the airport in your car, and there was a big billboard, right? Had this giant, I think it was like an old Boeing jet on it. And it said, welcome back. While you've been away, we've been KISN your wife. I still remember that billboard. It was brilliant. And then the station, unfortunately, had some problems where there was a thing in the United States, there still is, technically, where you're supposed to give equal airtime to different political candidates. Well, Kissin' got caught not doing that, and because of it, they lost their license and had to go off the air back in 1976. So the call sign, KISN, now resides in Salt Lake City, Utah. I think just by default it should be here. Anyway, hang in there, Rod. You'll get that call, and when you do, it'll be worth the wait. Alan Lloyd, hey, gents, I too believe the QRP rocks. I have 3 amps and a lifetime supply of 811s and 572Bs. But I just joined the QRP Club International. 5 watts may be more fun than 500. Less can be more, and I can't agree more with you. Thank you, Alan. I think that might just be the comment of the whole show. Super comment. There's something about QRP. There is. It's just a challenge. You know, I talk with people with foundation license a lot. And here's my advice. You got 10 watts. It doesn't mean you can't get a rockin' good antenna, right? Doesn't mean that, does it? No, you can get an awesome antenna and make that 10 watts really work for you. That's what I would do. It's exactly what I would do. 10 watts and a great antenna will work you much farther than you think. Don't believe me? Take a look at what this one is. Here is a call from the top corner of the United States, like where I'm at, up but farther north in Washington State. The call is all the way to the Canary Islands. Once we're done, I'll tell you the wattage it took to make this call.
Well, now we have come to a point in the show. We only have a few minutes left in this final program,
And that's not it. You see, this is why I need the new Mac right here. This is the reason why. Karen and I are going through a power struggle. We're doing that because the new Macs were announced this week. And by the way, they come in 10 vibrant colors. I'm not kidding. I want orange because my favorite color is like bright orange on a computer. That is flipping awesome. I want that thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like I'm telling Karen, hey, this is supercharged M1 chip. It's got three cameras, 3 HD cameras, 7 speakers out, very thin, and it's less. It's literally like $600 less than what the Macs cost right now. Now it's a smaller screen. I can deal with that. That's okay. But still, the new Macs, they come in like all these colors like purple, blue, red, orange, yellow, pink, green, whatever color you want. The new Macs could be dynamite. You can order yours April 30th. They come out in the middle of May here in the U.S. I know we talk about ham radio here, but doggone, we also do work on, our computers, right? We log here. We do programs like FL Digi, Ham Radio Deluxe. We use that. We might use a Flex Radio through our computer. So the new Mac's coming out. It's going to make a big difference. Tom says from Bahrain, QRP will become more popular as Cycle 25 comes around. Amen to that. And when companies like ICOM produce 705s that do so well as they do, you're going to, and they're selling them like crazy, Tom. They are. They're selling them like crazy. QRP is hot right now. It's a great way to be in ham radio. Dave Temecula used to listen to KJR when I was a kid living in Tacoma, 66 and 67. KJR was the boss radio. That was the best, man. Oh, 95 KJR. They were amazing. Great. And some of the best DJs in the country came out of KJR. So, all right. So Martin worked today 10 watts, 10 meters, 1,527 kilometers. That's phenomenal. Good job. Wow. That's fantastic. Okay, I'm not sure why this video didn't render. I don't know, but I will show it to you here, okay? This is a really fantastic video. It talks about a guy, it shows him actually working QRP. Now, keep in mind, he's from the Pacific Northwest, way up in Washington State. He's working the Canary Islands, right off of the African coast. Enjoy this. This is a phenomenal video of this man doing some amazing work. Have fun.
Delta India Golf, this is Echo Alpha 8, America, Mexico, QSO.
Notice how patient he is. He's waiting his turn. Okay, remember, he's running QRP. And the Urban Beam, by the way, it's still in the box. I got to build the flagpole antenna first.
I'm working for the 15 and 20 meter energy and Grand Fort County. Thank you for the contact and the many DX. My compliment to your family, kilometers, India Golf, AM.
Kilómetro 7, Hotel Victoria, QRP, QRP. Kilo 7, Hotel Victor, QRP. East Coast Wall. West Coast
What did you make? Thank you. You are 5 and 9.
Kilo 7, Hotel Victoria. Kilo 7, Hotel Victor, QRP.
Station QRP.
Kilo 7 Hotel Victoria, QRP. You're 59 in Washington State. My name is John, Juliet Oscar Hotel, Norway. Echo Alpha 8 Alpha Mike, Kilo 7 Hotel Victoria.
Okay, QSO, Kilo 7, Hotel Victoria, you're 55757, QSO, John?
QSL, muchas gracias por el contacto de QRP. Nos vemos.
Okay, QRP, thank you, good luck, 73, John.
7-3, thank you. Woohoo, Canary Islands.
How about that? Okay, now, to be fair, that QSO was made 8 years ago. Okay, we had more sunspots then. Makes a difference. You ready? That was on 4 watts. That was 4 watts. Now, keep in mind, he has a Yagi, so he's got a directional beam that he's using. Folks, if you're on a foundation license, get yourself a beam. It's not hard to do. Put yourself up a beam antenna. It's going to multiply the amount of power you can legally send out your transmitter, and you're going to make calls that are just absolutely amazing. I want you to know that call, by the way. That was a total of 8,788 kilometers, roughly, and about 5,500 miles away on 4 watts. QRP. So the sunspots are coming. We know that. We're in the middle of sunspot. We're down coming from 24 up to solar cycle 25. We've hit the bottom of 24, and we are now coming up on 25. That means the next 5 years of ham radio are going to be golden. They're going to be so amazing. And it comes at a time when the ham radio manufacturers out there are producing the best ham radio receivers in history. This is really big. This is the time to be in amateur radio. If you want to be in pro radio, not amateur radio, but you want to be a ham radio operator, contact the ARRL at arrl.org. They'll help you. Go to the contact section, tell them where you are, let them know you want to find a radio club near you to help you get on the air. If you're in Canada, contact the Radio Amateurs of Canada. That's rac.ca. Find them again, www.rac.ca. Our mates over the pond in the UK. Find the Radio Society of Great Britain. They are a wonderful group of hams who really, truly care about helping you get on the air. Find them on the internet, www.rsgb.org, okay? All right. Canary Islands QSO, 4 watts from way up north in Washington State of the United States, which is the top, northwest corner of the U.S. Now, keep in mind, that signal still had to bounce over land at least once. It had to skip over land at least once because it has to cover the entire United States because the Canary Islands are a long way southeast. So that is a very long QSO. Notice also it was daylight. So that was a daytime band. I did check on the video, by the way, on that, which I think was phenomenal. I saw it and I was like, holy crud. That was done, by the way, just so you know, on 15 meters. Okay, 15 meters. Beautiful. So, yeah, 15 meters, and that's one of the bands that's really going to wake up. It's starting to wake up now, as is 10 meters. By the way, this weekend, the Florida QSO party will be going on Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday, Sunday, Florida QSO party. That's the only big sideband party QSO thing that's happening this weekend. If you're around, you'd like to do a contest, all right? All the counties in Florida will be playing the game, basically, and you can contact them from other states. You've never done a contest before. Look for them. They will probably be all over the ham bands calling CQ contest, CQ contest, CQ contest. This is ABCD123. However, remember, the work bands are immune from contesting. So if you want to get on and talk to somebody, 17 meters is a great bet. So that'll be this weekend. All right, let's take a look quickly. We'll see if we can make a quick call on the rig, and then we'll say a goodbye to all of you. Hang on. And yeah, the Urban Beam, we're working on it. It's still in the box, but it will come out shortly. I need concrete pour today to get into the flagpole mast, so that's firmly in the ground. And then once that's curing, which takes, I don't want to put the flagpole in for about 6 to 7 days. Let's let it cure. So once that's done, we'll have the flagpole ready to go. Waiting on the remote tuner right now. That takes time because parts are very scarce for everything. That's why you see so many radios out of stock and so many antennas out of stock, because the manufacturers are waiting for stock to come from their suppliers. So right now I'm grateful to have the Urban Beam, very grateful, and we'll be working on assembling that in the coming weeks. Going to take my time with it, and we'll do some short videos on its assembly. Great question. Okay, so we're on the Yaesu FTDX 101 Delta. We're using the DX Commander Classic at 30 feet, and we're not going to use the amplifier. We'll be running barefoot today. And still hearing a lot of fade on 20. Look at that. Watch his signal come up now.
This is all the new kids on the block. They just sound so good. This was early DSP, the radio I'm on, and the 870 was one of the first DSP radios. And while it's lacking in a lot of things, it truly is lacking in a lot of things. It does two things.
Now you're going to see then it slowly fade away.
Radio can sound just as good as most of the stuff that you hear on the air today, maybe even better. But the receiver, when there's no interference and you got a good strong signal, it rivals commercial broadcast. It's like you took an old tube receiver, Fisher, Moran, Macintosh, or whatever, the commercial broadcast, and tuned into your favorite FM or
and there he goes.
Station. That's kind of what it sounds like with a pair of headphones on. And so it does a couple of things really well, and then a lot of things it doesn't do so well. It's just more radio.
And he's gone.
My needs are few, and as long as it works, I'm going to keep going with it. This radio should fail.
You see, and that's QSB. That's what we've been facing most of the week here on the ham bands. In fact, it's been there about probably the last 6 or 7 days, maybe 8. So a lot of fade, a lot of QSB on 20 and 17 as well. And I did check 17, no one's there. So right now, I think we're going to just not do a QSO. We'll try and come back tonight for our CQ Calling DX edition. That will come on at 10 p.m. Pacific. That's 10 p.m. Pacific time, which I believe translates into 0600 UTC. If you're in the UK or Europe, please understand it's right about 0600. We'll be trying to make calls. Now, last night on 100 watts was able to work Bulgaria, so there's a chance we might hit an opening. Just a very short chance to hit an opening to you. Please, if you can in Europe, follow the show. You just might hear the call tomorrow morning. All right, folks, I'll tell you what, we're going to close the show at this point. We've been going an hour. I want to thank you for coming. I again want to thank you for subscribing. I'm just an average dude, guys. I just do a YouTube channel. Anybody with an iPhone 3S and a little bit of time can make one of these. I'm not anything special. I just share my passion of radio with you. And for some reason you find it interesting, gosh darn it, thank you for that, because it means a lot to me. When you get to a point in life where, things happen to you that you didn't expect, like, you're working really hard in your life, and then something really bad happens, and you end up that you're told you can no longer work any longer. You start to wonder, what's my purpose now in life? My love has always been radio, since I was a child. And this is my way of sharing it with the world. You coming to subscribe to this channel means so much to me. It really does, because it helps people to find this channel, and people have contacted me who've told me that this channel has helped them get licensed. That is the greatest compliment in the world to me, and it means everything to hear those emails. Thank you for subscribing. We're 1.3% away now from hitting 50-50. I never thought that would happen, and I thank you for making that happen. Thank you. We're going to see a sign off here at the very end, and it's a sad one. This is the final words of Radio Canada International. It was a shortwave stalwart for almost 70 years on shortwave. This is the final broadcast. It's an incredibly sad sign-off. And you'll see after the mic is cut just how hard it was, just how much it meant to the broadcaster who was on the end of the microphone making that final statement to the world. Enjoy it. It's what we all share in ham radio or shortwave, our love for broadcasting. My name's Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7, Hotel November. It's been my honor and privilege to do this show for you today. Thank you for watching. From Oregon, all the very best to you. We'll hopefully see you later on this evening on CQ Calling. Until then, God bless you. Have yourself a wonderful Friday, wherever you may be in this world. Goodbye, everybody.
Well, now we have come to a point in the show. We only have a few minutes left in this final program, and I kind of find myself in the incredible position of being one of the last voices to be broadcast on Canada's international radio. And over these past few years, it has been my extreme privilege to be able to work alongside some of the most dedicated and talented people I've ever known. But we're saying goodbye to teammates and colleagues, most of whom are reluctantly retiring or leaving the job they love to seek other employment, but every one of them with a strong sense of pride for a job extremely well done. I'm finding this very hard. For 67 years, RCI has been the country's voice to the world, broadcasting Canada's viewpoints and culture in several languages. Not without some rocky financial times, though. Over a decade ago, when our budget was about double what it is now, the accounting firm KPMG was hired to examine RCI, and they discovered to their surprise that in comparison it was probably the most efficient of international broadcasters. It currently costs Canadians about 34 cents a year for this international service. And I don't know about you, but personally I have more loose change than that rattling around in the ashtray of my car. But the RCI budget has now been cut by about 80%, with similar reduction on staff, equipment, and operations. And you know, I've always felt that RCI shows would be of interest to Canadians, and when the CBC did finally carry the link, your reaction was almost universally positive. It's being said the CBC is shuttering operations that do not reflect its core mandate, such as broadcasting to an international audience, which may have some truth to it. But it seems that with so much fascination to tell Canadians about American stars and stories, that Canadians were actually quite hungry for a show like The Link and its Canadian focus. I wonder if, in fact, The Link and RCI, with this focus, was moving closer to the CBC mandate, while the CBC was moving away. That's the message that you've been telling us very clearly in your letters and emails. It's also being said that shortwave is a technology at the end of its life cycle, or quite simply obsolete. It's true that some countries have ceased shortwave and moved to the net, but countries like Germany, France, the United Kingdom, Australia, for example, have no intention of ending their international service. Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty are going strong. The Voice of America is even going to open a new bureau in Burma. Indeed, the board overseeing those services said in its 2013 budget submission to the U.S. government that international broadcasting is among the most cost-effective initiatives within public diplomacy. Meanwhile, the Voice of Russia, with its 38 broadcast languages, has just this month opened a new office in London, saying it's a new opportunity to tell listeners about life in Russia and give Russian opinion on world matters. Other countries like China, North Korea, Cuba, amongst others, remain convinced of the strategic value of shortwave in spreading their message. In fact, this is an area where the Voice of Canada enjoyed great international respect and was relied upon by listeners worldwide, for the fact that our objectives in broadcasts and news services were to always be as balanced and unbiased as possible. And while there's no denying the importance of the internet, there's also no denying that it can be and is regularly blocked by authoritarian regimes. Shortwave broadcasts, on the other hand, almost always get through to people hungry for information. Radio has also always been an extremely inexpensive and highly portable, easily accessible to everyone around the world, no matter what their financial situation. But now I find myself, on behalf of all of us, saying goodbye to 67 years of radio, broadcasting stories of Canadian expertise and discoveries in medical fields and science, of technological innovation, business opportunities and practices, both good and bad, Canadian politics and policies, Canadian expert opinion and analysis of domestic and world affairs, and of course wonderful Canadian artists and culture. And most sadly, goodbye also to you, my radio friends, with whom we have shared so many stories. I've absolutely loved being your host, welcoming you to the link every day for these past many years. It's a privilege I have been thankful for every single day. Your many letters expressing your thanks for bringing you Canadian stories and artists you have not heard about elsewhere, and also expressing shock and dismay at the ending of the show have truly warmed all our hearts. And thanks to all of you who have also written to the CBC to tell them how much you appreciate the show and the kinds of Canadian stories we cover. We do remain hopeful that a mere $10 million may quickly be found to save RCI, but now, on behalf of all of us, let me express to you a most sincere thank you for our small but highly dedicated team, Lynn Desjardins, Terry Haig, Carmel Kilkenny, Rashi Kilnani, and Ian Jones, who is not with us right now, Lauren Curry in Vancouver, Frank Racco in Calgary, Lynn Françoise Pelletier from Toronto, Robert Jarreau from Halifax, Amanda Pfeffer in Ottawa, and Valerie Morin before that, Kathy Coulombe, and our wonderful technicians Chantal Saint-Sauveur, and of course Tanya Gancheva, who's not with us today, who has done so much for the show. Our assistant Roman Pitt, our producers Suzanne Sugar and Levon Savants. And so, for all of us, thank you so much, and goodbye.
Well done, Mark.
That's top.
She went down last October in a pouring driving rain. The skipper, he'd been drinking.